Hello, welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the weekly video series trying to get you the most MGP possible from the Mandeville Gold Saucer on a Friday when judging begins for the Fashion Report minigame. This time we're on Fran's character. Fran is controlling as I'm talking over, and yeah, basically I'm capped on MGP, so Fran needed some MGP, so I said I'd help her through this one this week for the footage. This week specifically then is the Big City Gambler theme, and if you highlight over the actual clues, yeah, there we go. The so the clues then are fashionably late Allegan for your body, simply saucer for your hands, small folk for your legs, and fringe benefits for your feet. In this video we're going to do a 100 score as well as a couple of easy 80s, so let's get straight into that. Okay, so have we done a good job? Yes, we have. So for a 100 score, our first piece of equipment is the Late Allegan Armor of Striking. Any Late Allegan piece will work. This is PvP gear, unfortunately. For the chest piece, what you want to do is go over to the Wolf's Den Pier and purchase with wolf marks on the wolf marks Disciple of War or Magic gear. Any of the Late Allegan chest pieces will work. This is the option right at the bottom. Each of these chest pieces will cost you 4,000 wolf marks. So if you've done some PvP, you can use pretty much any of these as far as I can tell. We're going to go specifically for the striking ones today. I couldn't find any alternatives to this outside of PvP, so immediately the 100's looking a little bit rough for free trial players who can't access PvP. But if you are a normal, player or of the game that subscribes, then you'll be able to spend wolf marks on this in the Wolf's Den Pier. For our hands and legs, we're actually in the right place in the Gold Saucer for both the bunny loops and the Riviera slops. The first thing we're going to get is either the bunny gloves or the bunny chief gloves, or the gambler's gloves. So the gambler's gloves obviously are 30,000 MGP. Those will work. Obviously both genders, everybody level 1 and above, the 30,000 MGP. For the bunny loops then, those will cost 25,000 MGP, so obviously a little bit cheaper if you want to go for those. And there's also the bunny chief loops as well, which are 30,000. So my recommendation would be to go for the normal 25,000 MGP bunny loops, which is what we're going to go for in this video. And whilst Fran is here, I think, yeah, she's going to go and purchase the Riviera slops. The Riviera slops is something you can get for 1,000 MGP. This will give you gold rating in this particular slot. So obviously it makes sense to get this. It's probably one of the cheapest and most accessible options this week. And then finally for the 100, we've got the leather jack boots. This is something you can get from a low-level city-state armor vendor. Moving over to Aldar's Sapphire Avenue Exchange, Fran is going to be purchasing from Gwalter or any other low-level city-state armor vendor will work. On the Disciple of War gear tab, 10 to 19 tab, you will find yourself at the bottom or near to the bottom that of the leather jack boots, which will cost you 288 gil, which is obviously nothing in the grand scheme of things and is freely accessible to our free trial players as well as anyone else. And for those, I believe there are some other alternatives. We've both not tested these this week, but I believe the Dalmore fringe boots will also work. But it's hard to argue with something that's vendor purchased and, level 10 and above on Disciple of War. So obviously, if you want to tailor your chest around a Disciple of War, that would probably make the most sense for this match. But yeah, the 100 score, not too bad this week. Obviously, we could make it better. So let's move on to an easy 80. One of the easiest ways to get an easy 80 would be to combine the cheapest items from the 100, 2 of them. So specifically, as you can see here, we've got both the Riviera slops, which is 1,000 MGP, and then of course we have the leather jack boots, which is from low-level city-state armor vendors such as Gwalter off of the 1 to 19 tab for 288 gil. So 288 gil plus 1,000 MGP gives you 60,000 MGP. for scoring 80 or above. And that's quite simple, isn't it, to be perfectly honest. There is obviously another way of doing this, and one way to do that is to combine any helm in the game and you dye that ash grey dye. Basically, for any legs in the game, you dye that ice blue. And then if you equip yourself with the jack boots, which again are, 288 gil, and then dye those bone white dye, you'll get an 80 score. You can get both ash grey, ice blue, and bone white for 40 gil a pot from any low-level city-state dye merchant, like the independent merchant Nanabe in Uldar's Sapphire Avenue Exchange. If you teleport in and go to the right, you'll find that NPC, and you'll be able to get all 3 of the dyes there, and then nip over to Gwalter and pick up the jack boots, and you're set pretty much just with a little bit of gil. Easily accessible by your free trial players, and you shouldn't have any issues. But again, if you have 2 items, that works too. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful in some way.
Yeah, I need the MGP.
So we did it on your character this week?
Yeah, we should do it every week on my character, because then I can become cap on MGP. That'd be lovely.
Well, until they actually, put something out worth spending MGP on for people who've got it all, then, I guess we could.
Well, I'm only missing one thing, and that's blackjack.
You're still missing the blackjack?
Yes.
All right.
That's the only thing I'm missing.
Let us know in the comment section if you've got all of the stuff from a Gold Saucer, and if you're waiting for this inevitable Gold Saucer update that they promised us at FanFest. And yeah, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Final Fantasy Tactics if you're playing it. I'll be streaming it on Twitch at twitch.tv/Meoni, and I'll see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.